the recommended nutrition guidance that we have, whether you are going to be hiking from Death Valley to Mount Whitney, or you're looking for health and longevity, or you're looking at improving your performance in the gym, the answer is going to be the same across the board. Welcome back, CrossFit Glen Burnie. How are you guys doing today? It is great to see your smiling faces. Got a nutrition question that came in on the email today. One of our members, Dave, is planning to do a trip. He's going hiking. He's climbed some mountains. He's done some epic things. This is going to top the list. He's got a 135-mile journey that's planned. He's going to start in Death Valley, and he's going to hike 130 miles to the summit of Mount Whitney. That's his plan. Of course, he's not going alone. He's got a friend that he's going with, and he's training. So one of the things that Dave is looking into is just really paying close attention to his nutrition during this time that he's training. And he knows that for himself, the meal prep and really eating clean is something that is going to be one of the bigger challenges. So he's reaching out to one of our food partners, Territory Foods, and he's going to be putting together some meals. So his question came in, which is basically, of all the different meal options that Territory Foods lists, and there's like 12 or so, which one would be the recommended options that he might pick from? We're looking at a balance of macronutrients that is going to give you the best overall balance in your diet. And that macronutrient balance that we look for is somewhere around 40% of your calories coming from carbohydrates, 30% from protein sources, and 30%, did I say 30%? 40, 30, 30, 30% from fat. And this is going to give you the best overall nutrition that your body's going to need so that your body can make the best choices given the various circumstances. So number one is going to be good, high quality foods that make that 40, 30, 30 balance, and then your consistency of eating those meals regularly throughout your day. So let's say that you're not into counting macros, you really don't want to get into the details of counting 40, 30, 30. There's really a very simple way that we go about figuring that out, and that's going to be the plate method that we often talk about with our clients. And the plate method, you can basically take your plate and you can divide it in half, and one half of that plate you should be filling up with your vegetables. If you have your vegetables covering half of the plate, then you're left with 1/4 for your lean protein and 1/4 for your starches. If you do that time in, time out, you're going to find that you're very close to that 40, 30, 30 balance. Now, if you're choosing fattier cuts of meat, that's going to throw that off. You're going to move more into fat. If you're not really being true to a quarter of the plate with that starch, and that starts to become a third of the plate, we're really piling on the mashed potatoes, that's going to move the carbs out. If you're having a lot of snacks where you're getting those sweet snacks and things like that, that's going to just really move things on. So what you have to really be true to is that overall plate method, 40, 30, 30, half of the plate full of veggies, and you're not going to get it wrong with that. That's going to be great. Now, the other option, if you're really getting into recording those macros and you really want to fine tune it, then what you really want to make sure that you're doing is, or one way that you can really help with that is weighing and measuring your food portions. So by weighing how much lean protein you have and entering that into MyFitnessPal, and weighing your veggies and entering that in, that's going to give you a much more finer grain detail on how many grams of each one of the macronutrients you're getting. But again, you can go back to that plate method and you're going to find that you're going to be very close to 40, 30, 30. Yet one more idea here. If you are going to go to one of these food options like Territory Foods or Jimmy's Famous Seafood or Jimmy's Famous Meals, you're going to find that they're providing you the macronutrient content of each one of those meals, and so that just makes it that much easier. Let's take a look at the different options in there for Dave and for you as far as the different meal options that Territory Foods has. And you're going to find that the first couple of meal options that they have, both the paleo and the mixitarian, are probably going to be the number one choices for getting that balanced nutrition. So let's take a look at that now. Okay, so let's take a look at what we have as weekly menu options when we go into Territory Foods. Let's just take a quick look at each one of them. The paleo option, you can see that this one really focuses on providing meats, vegetables, nuts and seeds, some fruit, no sugar. So this is the traditional CrossFit prescription for whole foods and giving you a real balanced moderation of protein, healthy fats, and carbohydrates. I have the option for showing macros, and so when you have that turned on, you can actually see the amount of carbs, protein, and fat in each one of the different meals. So as you go about building your menu for the week, you can pick through and mix and match the different options, and you always have these macros available so you can see those. Mixitarian is the next option. So this is the way they describe it is for somebody who just wants to eat clean. It basically these menu options start with the meat and vegetable foundation and add in the gluten-free grains, some of the legumes, and natural sweeteners. So this gives you lots of options. So it's a lot more flexible than the paleo option because it's going to add in those gluten-free grains like rice, for example. Vegetarian and vegan options are available. You can look at those. I think those are fairly straightforward. Whole30 is a fairly strict program that some folks have tried. It really cuts out the sugar, alcohol, grains, dairy, legumes, processed foods. So there's a lot of foods that are off of the list. So this one's less flexible than the others. Macro balance is an option that basically gives you a macro mix of higher carbs and proteins and maintaining those lower fats. And so they're picking out meals that have less than 20 grams of fat, more than 40 grams of carbs, and more than 30 grams of protein. So you'll see that one, there'll be three to five meals that will show up that will fit into that macro balance option. The next two options on there are the low fat and the lowest fat. Again, that just sort of takes us further away from what we feel is a balanced nutrition. So by going for a lower fat option or the lowest fat option, you're really restricting one of the macronutrients. So unless your doctor's telling you that you really need to cut out that fat, we're going to be recommending that you pick some of the other options there. Same thing goes for the low carb, keto friendly. This again is going to bias away from carbs, and so for that reason we're not going to recommend that as an option for a well-balanced diet for healthy individuals. So again, that one's probably not one that you're going to be picking from. MedStar Healthy is kind of an interesting one if you want to take a look at that one. It has obviously the same healthy, nutritious meals that Territory has come to be known by. It is focusing on providing 350, 600 calorie meals, either or, 30 or 60 grams of carbs with less than 750 milligrams of sodium and no more than 7 grams of saturated fat. There's an option in here too for new and expecting moms. So this may apply to some of you. These meals are going to be high in the macronutrients and complex carbs. So expectant new mothers can have access to whole foods that are healthy for them and their babies. So there's some options in there. Obviously these meals are going to show up in more than one option because a lot of these options are targeting healthy whole foods, and they're going to, basically qualify themselves for lots of these different options. Mediterranean, you've heard about that. Basically that Mediterranean diet is going to focus on plenty of veggies and moderate amounts of protein and healthy fats. Air, sea, and plants. So basically you're looking in the spirit of Michael Pollan's omnivore dilemma. So this menu is going to steer you to a healthy mix of poultry, fish, and vegetarian meals. Basically cutting out those red meat, pork, and lamb. So if that is something that suits your lifestyle, that's an option for you as well. So all of the territory meals are free of the refined sugars. They're made with no gluten containing ingredients. They're non-dairy, sustainably sourced, and freshly made. So there's a lot of goodness in that overall, and lots of different options. As an added bonus, when you go to log your meals in MyFitnessPal, all of these meals are available in MyFitnessPal and can be easily added into your profile. Anyway, so thanks for checking out the territory foods. So there you go. Thanks so much for checking in. I hope this has been helpful. I know it was a longer video. If you got any questions, comments, or you would like to learn more, comment down below, send me an email. Be happy to help you guys out. Take care and have a great day. Whoa, missed completely.